now I would like to introduce our featured speaker, Lisa Marcus. Lisa is the CEO of GLE Brands, which is Cheech's Private Stash. She is the co-creator of the Cheech's cannabis brand, as well as the vision of Cheech Marin, who, as we all know, is part of the infamous Cheech and Chong duo. Lisa is responsible for co-founding and managing all aspects of the brand, from sourcing cannabis product to creating the marketing, PR, and sales initiatives. She's currently launching an additional tier to Cheech's staff with the introduction of CBD wellness products. Lisa is committed to establishing the Cheech brand as the most recognized and successful cannabis brand in the country. From the brand's infancy, she has been dedicated to maintaining its integrity while working very closely with Cheech and continuing the adherence to the brand's tagline, "It will always be good." Prior to joining Cheech's Private Stash, Lisa served as the COO at Riviera Imports New York, which is an importer and producer of spirits and wine products. In 2016, Lisa was introduced to Cheech Marin, which led to their collaboration to create the popular Tres Papalote Mezcal brand. And due to the success of the Mezcal, she was offered the lead in the development of Cheech's Private Stash cannabis brand. And as part of her responsibilities at Riviera Imports, she led the marketing and PR team and developed brand stories and consumer messaging. Lisa was the lead liaison to distributors for the sales initiatives and events and creating consumer awareness around the Riviera brands. Earlier in her career, Lisa served as the chief of staff for Colin Cowie Enterprises, which is the world's leading design and event firm. She was devoted to creating a work environment where every project had a standard of excellence, ultimately providing consistent customer satisfaction. Lisa is a dual resident of Austin, Texas, and New York City, and she has a son and an adopted daughter from Rwanda. Lisa is one of the founding members of Feminiza North America, which is an international nonprofit organization dedicated to the encouragement of every woman's future and working towards a greater mutuality between the genders. Lisa was part of an international team that hosted a 4-day seminar at the UN in Nairobi that was entitled Ubuntu, meaning value for the life of every human being in gender respect. She continues to mentor women around the world and is resolute to the belief that if you save one life, you save the world. From an early age, Lisa has been interested in health and well-being. She's thrilled to be part of the cannabis industry, knowing the healing benefits of the plant. Lisa looks forward to discoveries of the natural wonder of cannabis and all that it may offer others. So Lisa, welcome. We're delighted to have you here today, and we look forward to you sharing your remarks. And we can't hear you.
Oops, sorry, I was mute. Thank you for the introduction, Carrie. I didn't think you were going to read all of that, but thank you very much. So yes, I'm really here. I'm very, very excited about CBD. As you mentioned in my bio, I have long been devoted to well-being, both physically and emotionally. Something that I took up many, many years ago, and it is a love of mine. I do healing work into the world as my passion and how I give back. So I'll give you a little bit of a history about CBD. Many years ago, and I'm talking many, so I might be dating myself, I lived in Jamaica in the West Indies. It was probably the mid-'80s, that's about right. And I lived in Negril. So for most of you who might know Jamaica, Jamaica is very famous as one of the first places that everybody got to know cannabis. So I lived in a little property. Actually, it was my family's property, my cousins, and they'd been out there since the 60s. And it was at that time, it was Negril. Many of you may know Negril now. It became a hot spot. But at that time, there was nothing there, and it was very remote. We had no electricity, no phones. It was really living like off the land. So I had my little cottage, if you will, and across the street was Auntie May. Now there wasn't very much food around. So if you wanted to have something for dinner, you'd have usually fresh fish, and it was very limited to the fish. And if you really wanted a treat, you got a chicken. So if I wanted chicken for dinner, I'd cross the road, go over to Auntie May and say, Auntie May, I want some chicken tonight. And she'd go out into the back in the afternoon, and she'd take a fresh chicken, and voila, it would show up at my doorstep. Now, one of the things about eating at that time was, as I mentioned, there wasn't a lot of food. And we ate a lot of pasta, because pasta was available, and a lot of bread, because a lot of the Jamaican women would be baking bread. So there was always plenty of bread. And at the time, I didn't know I had a bit of a wheat intolerance. And I used to get a lot of headaches because I think I was eating way too much bread. And one morning, I happened to be talking to Auntie May, and I mentioned about my headache. You know, she was saying, how are you today, my dear? And, you know, and she'd call me daughter. How are you today, daughter? And I'd say, I'm okay. I just keep getting these headaches. She said, don't worry, daughter. I have something for you. And she gave me a tincture, which I found out later was CBD hemp. And I didn't know it at the time, and we didn't really talk, I didn't even know about CBD as even an option, because at that time there was only marijuana that we talked about around the world, or in Jamaica. So I had the CBD tincture, and it was just incredible what it did for my headaches. So fast forward, when I came back to the States, there was no CBD at this time. It didn't exist. But I do remember those days. And of course, I adjusted my food so I would try not to have the headaches. But that's how I became interested in CBD. And I've long been a proponent of its healing properties in so many ways, so many ways. And in my travels with Cheech or on my own, everywhere we go, it's amazing the stories that you hear from people about CBD, about marijuana, about cannabis, how much it changes their lives. So I love what Ryan said earlier, is that we really have to start to think outside the box. And we really have to start to think about new ways and innovations to bring CBD out into the world, because we just now, I think, started to get the attention. I hope you don't hear my dog barking in the background. We just started to get the attention that that this wonderful, wonderful category deserves. And it's really quite amazing. Many of you know how many things CBD can be used for. And I really feel if we come together as a community and really start to educate the public, I believe one day soon you will walk into every drugstore and there'll be Tylenol, Advil, and then there'll be CBD, because it's so much better for you and in my opinion, as effective. So I just wanted to go back again and tell a little story about my experience with Cheech and how we came to form up the CBD division. So as you heard, I met Cheech through Riviera Imports when we started to create a mezcal with him. And Cheech is the all-time have fun, enjoy life kind of guy. And it's truly who he is. You know, people have a persona. I've worked with a lot of celebrities in a lot of different areas. And very often it's such a disappointment when you meet celebrities, because they have this persona and then they have the real them. But Cheech is Cheech, and he loves his fans, he loves people, and he loves just being happy and feeling well and sharing that. So when we created the Tres Papalote Mezcal, he taglined it, the party mezcal. So it became the party mezcal. Then when we went to work on our cannabis brand, he tagged that, it will always be good. Then when we created the CBD brand, he tagged that, feel good, live good, love life. So he really enjoys life, and that's what he wanted to bring to all his fans and to everybody that he could touch with his CBD, is to feel well and enjoy your life. And I'll tell you a quick story, which I shared, I think, with Brad Turner. One day we were in San Diego, Cheech and I, and we were doing at that time a mezcal appearance on the local Fox News. So when you go to the news stations, you usually come through the front door. There's a handler, takes you back, sets you up for the interview. And then when the interview's over, it's usually a 3, 4, 5-minute interview on the morning show. When the interview is over, the handler takes you out to the front, thanks you very much, shakes your hand and sends you on your way. So this particular morning, we were leaving the Fox studio and they kind of took us out a back door and back stairs, and we started to kind of exit, to go towards the exit in the back of the building. And I just happened to ask this young lady, why is it that you're taking us out this way? We came in the front. And she said, well, you know, Cheech got on the TV show. Some of his fans saw him, and they immediately ran down to the studio right while he was speaking, and they're standing outside. And Cheech turned around, he said, wait a minute. If my fans are at the front door, that's where I'm going out. So he really is a man of the people, and people love Cheech. Everywhere we go, they just love him. And we really are so happy that we've now extended our cannabis brand to CBD and that we can reach other people. So just a couple of things about the brand. It's called Cheech's Stash CBD, and we're very excited about the products that we bring to the market. Everything that we ever put in a jar or in a bottle or in a pre-roll for the Cheech brand is tested by Cheech and his son Joey. This is a family business. Cheech and his son Joey and his daughter Jasmine all work in the business. And Joey is our product control man. So everything has to pass Joey, and he's a tough customer. So when I decided that I wanted to present the idea of doing a CBD brand with Cheech, it took a little time because, you know, Cheech wasn't that familiar with CBD. But after a while, he said, you know what, let's do it. So then the question became, how do you find a partner? And I know this was being discussed earlier. It's really important that you find the right person to work with. And as we know, not all CBD is the same. So finding good product and then finding a team of people that you can relate to. So I had been looking into CBD, I guess it was close to 2 years. And I have to say there was some wonderful, marvelous CBD available. And there were so many choices, it was really hard to decide who to go with. So we just kept looking, you know. I guess I felt there was something there. There was something waiting for us that was going to be just the right fit. And sure enough, we came across this wonderful company called Tropical Way, and they're based in Washington State. And it's a wonderful story because they are a 3rd generation CBD business, and they are Mexican American. So it was a perfect story for Cheech. And the lovely story is that the great grandmother, who was in Mexico originally, she was the one that began to put together all these tinctures. And she was the one that began to experiment, and it became like a family business where you pass down the secret recipes, if you will, which is quite interesting because it's the same thing with mezcal. I have to make the connection. The mezcalera is usually like 2nd or 3rd generation, and he has a great family secret recipe that's been handed to him. So we found this wonderful family who had recipes for 3 generations, and that was it. It was like the light bulb went off, and we knew we had found the right people. So that's our story. We're just about to launch the brand, the CBD brand in October. We're really excited. We have a website, cheech's-cbd.com, and I thought it would be really fun to give away a package here today. So I'm going to put my let me put my email in the chat. And I thought maybe if you want to email me and tell me what it is you love about Cheech. So whoever gets the best story, tell us why you love Cheech. and we will send you a wonderful package of all kinds of goodies. Now we've got my favorite, oh my gosh, I love the bath salts. They're just amazing. And sometimes I just take them in the shower and I just rub them all over my body. I don't even get into the bath. And Cheech's wife likes them too. But we have wonderful tinctures. We have a muscle cream. Now, the other interesting story is Cheech had his knee replaced in November. He had been on stage and his knee buckled. And he had to have his knee redone. It was the second one. The first one he had done a few years ago, and he had used opioids for pain relief after the surgery. This time, he used a lot of CBD and some cannabis products. And there's an interview, if you look on YouTube, you may be able to find it, of him speaking about how much quicker his recovery was. He didn't have any issues. You know what it's like being on an opioid and trying to get off that regime. And he's now a big, big, big fan of CBD. So we've got some great tinctures. We're going to be adding in a sleep tincture. We've got, like I said, the muscle creams, the sore muscle, lavender cream for relaxation, for eczema, wonderful products. So check out the website. And again, I put my email in the chat, and give me a quick sentence or two of why you love Cheech, why he's the man of the people. So thank you very much. And I will also be at the networking program after today's event.
Great. Thank you so much, Lisa. We all love Cheech, so I think you'll be getting a lot of emails from us, and we really appreciate you taking the time to speak with us and sharing some of your thoughts and insights. And especially thank you for all the work that you do on behalf of women around the world. It's critically important, super critically important. So thank you.
Thank you.